look back on film at what they were doing in the run game in the second half, were you seeing your guys being physically or missing fits?
Some of both. Had some gap issues. Had some guys get knocked off the ball. Had to mix it up a little bit. They were giving us the unbalanced 21 personnel unbalanced. We tried to keep the box loaded early in the game with a 9-man front, and we got hit with the home run on the touchdown on the deep ball. So we started changing the math a little bit in the box and movement, some blitzes, and really just trying to stop the bleeding. And when we did finally stop them and get them into third downs and what we call money down here, they did a better job than we did. They won 50% of those battles, which is uncommon for us, and kept us on the field.
Did he actually, did Bell, having the reputation as a runner, did he actually throw the ball better than you guys probably anticipated, and then you loaded the box and he went up top on us?
Yeah, you know, yeah, I mean, great deep ball. I mean, he put it right on the money. Bruce Jones is in great position and looked back to the quarterback instead of finishing. So, I mean, there's things that we can get corrected there. He did make some throws. He had some bad balls as well. And we did think that he might throw some into coverage. So there were some cases there where we rushed 4 and dropped 7, tried to play a little bit more zone initially. And, you know, the most frustrating deal was the 3rd and 8 with 4 minutes left to go on the clock. We knew what the route was going to be. We told Ola exactly what was coming, and we played a squat. So, I mean, he threw it. He didn't even look at the coverage. He threw it right to us, and we didn't make a play. So we got to do a better job of attacking the football when the ball's in the air and not let these quarterbacks drill into us.
Is that what you've got to change between now and Saturday, is do that?
Yeah.
Want to do to?
Well, we didn't. Yeah, so we didn't stop the run game, which anytime you can get them two-dimensional. I was worried going into the Oklahoma game if they did establish the run, and then now they've got play action and they've got their whole menu. That would be a challenge for us. We knew the offensive line was a big physical group that had a lot of experience under their belt, but we got off to a great start, and then just, you know, got off balance a little bit. You know, the long drive there in the second quarter, we didn't win 2 of those third down situations early when they were backed up. Had we made plays there, we're out of that drive, and then of course then we gave up the home run there right before half.
When they make those third downs, does that sort of set the tone for the game? When you see that they're successful early on, does that?
I don't know about setting the tone for the game, because we've responded in all games and really down the stretch have really responded in those situations. Where we've had an issue is if we've given up a couple consecutive third down situations, that the drive continues and now we start subbing out guys, and now all of a sudden our face of our defense looks a little bit different. We're trying to keep guys fresh. And anytime they're moving the ball, 15 plays, I think that one was for 98 yards, wore us down a little bit. We didn't make plays when we needed to make plays, put it that way.
And Coach, despite all of the mistakes and not being able to make plays at certain times, you got to be excited about the execution on all 3 sides of the ball. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
Our guys know that if we get the stops, I think Betsy asked earlier to Sonny, you know, we got to make plays in third down and get off the field. That's when we're the best. When we're in there 3 or 6 plays, limited plays, and we're fresh, that's when we can really play, you know, our best and execute our defense. This particular game, they did a great job of mixing it up, and like I said, 50-50 on third downs is not good enough. That's well below our standards, and we weren't able to accomplish a lot of our goals that we set throughout the course of the week. And hats off to Oklahoma and their staff.
So a lot more film study against Oklahoma State, just considering all the formations they like to show.
Yeah, you know, it's another menu where they're going to mix it up, but they got a really good running game. And then you look at the Iowa State game, and they rushed for a ton of yards against Iowa State, and Iowa State didn't couldn't make those types of plays, and kind of a similar deal, kept drives alive and kept them off balance. And, you know, we got to get them into a one-dimensional game and make sure that we first and foremost stop the run game.
How is their run game similar or different to OU's?
Well, the little bit more, you know, OU's was a little bit more of a power game with the two-back, the 21, the big personnel in the game coming right at you. They'll have a little bit of their 20 personnel, Oklahoma State. Well, they will get into some three-back sets that has been similar to a lot of the TCU and some of the other teams that have gone to the three-back menu. But, you know, Oklahoma's was a little bit different flavor because it was 21 personnel. It was unbalanced to create another look and a power game with the backside guard pulling. So this will be a little bit more zone, a little bit more read zone. Some of the things that we've seen in the past from some of the spread attacks.
Oklahoma State's produced a couple of good NFL wide receivers. What's the key to stopping the receiving core this Saturday?
We just do our job. You know, we're going to run our menu. If we're in man, we got to play technique. If we're in zone and the ball goes in the air, we can't sit around and wait for the receivers to come down with it. We got to go get it and play with a swagger like we had been playing for several games this year. And we got to just do our job and trust the guys around us. And I think we'll be in good shape. When we came back Sunday, I told the guys that they were in the training room. I told them a miracle had happened. The sun came up. So they haven't killed us. We're still alive. We're going to look at the film and get better, and that's what we're doing.
Their receivers do well.
They went Oklahoma. Oklahoma State's got speed on the perimeter like we've seen. Number 5 can take the lid off. He's also a returner. They all got good shake. And with what they do, if they can establish the run game and they get into the play action and you give that quarterback time, now all of a sudden you're dealing with sit-downs, comebacks, stutter goes. You got the whole menu. So got to play with our eyes. You know, our guys have done a good job all year of not giving up anything cheap. I think the 76-yarder at the OU game, if Bruce just finishes, I think he's fine. And then we had a cheap one on the back end where we busted the coverage that left number 3 wide open. We don't need to do stuff like that. Make them earn it.
Did you say Bruce on 76-yarder? Did you say he had his eyes in the wrong place?
He was running stride for stride, was in good shape. We didn't have safety help. We actually had safety help off the play action, but they ran double post, so we lost our safety on the inside post route, and so Bruce was hung out by himself and running stride for stride and just looked back to the quarterback instead of just finishing on the receiver and finishing on when the ball came. So that's where the separation happened for him. But he knew it, came to the sidelines, knew it, and that's the thing about these seniors. I mean, they know when we've got issues and when they didn't do something right, and we could just fix it and get better and go on to the next snap.
Like he hasn't given up very much this year. How do you feel like his level of play has been?
I think he's been outstanding. He's played at a high level. He's played with a lot of confidence. I know going back to West Virginia when he had the holding call, came to the sideline, said, "Coach, I know, I got you. I'm good." And just the look in his eye, he's got a lot of confidence. Even though he got beat on the big play, he knew there was a lot of ball left, and at that position, we're going to get beat from time to time. You can't dwell on it. You got to go on to the next snap, and he certainly has done that for us. He's played big.
Do you think that the swagger took a hit Saturday? Do you think there's a little bit less, and is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I'm sure that our feelings were hurt a little bit anytime you give up over 500 yards and 38 points and can't get out of drives. I know we've got a group that has a lot of pride. You know, you got a coaching staff in here on defense that has a lot of pride, and we'll look at the film, look ourselves in the mirror, and brush it off and go on to the next one.
First loss for this group of defensive guys. Talk about the message. Does the message change this week at all?
The message never changes. It never changes in here. It's never really about what our opponent's doing. It's what we do. And having faith in the guys around you, having faith in our system, doing our job, playing aggressive, being relentless. One of the things that showed up this week was tackling, a little bit more with the missed tackles, pursuit angles, those things that we really had been clean on. I think they had 220 yards after contact. So when we had guys in position to make hits, bouncing off of tackles, not finishing on tackles, and they were going for extra yards. When you look at that, you look at their explosive plays that we gave up. We gave up 7 explosive plays, anything over 12 yards in the run game for us on a 12-yard or more run, or 20-yard pass or more is what we call a big play. We want to limit that to 3 or less. Each week we gave up 7 big plays, 4 in the run game, 3 in the pass, that accumulated, I think, 224 yards. So you look at that, then you remove them, and you look at 65 other snaps for 302 yards. There's a lot of good football. We just got to clean. We just can't. We got to keep a lid on it and force them to go the 98 yards, even though that's not what we want to do. But we've always said if they move the big field on us and they score, then hats off to them. The more times offenses have to snap the ball, the better opportunity we have to take it away.
Early on, you played a bit for a lot. I noticed. Seemed like in passing situations, is that his progress, or is that just like not having Dartwan and having some
A little bit of both. I mean, Bennett's been a guy that's been a high motor kid. That's not been Donnell's forte as far as rushing the passer. Just trying to keep guys fresh, trying to rotate the front as much as we can. Tried to put him in position to have success and to give Donnell a breather in those passing type situations.
What did David show you Saturday? A really hostile, tough environment.
Yeah, it was the biggest, I guess, stage that he's played in front of the most people, and I think that he really hung in there. He showed a lot of poise. He showed a lot of competitiveness and some toughness too. Physically, he took a lot of hits. Took some big shots and just kept getting back up and really as the game went on, I think he was more comfortable being out there and being in control in that environment. So I'm really pleased with really how he grew up on Saturday, from the start of the game to the finish, and how he handled himself and handled the team in that environment.
How did he respond after the ball slipped out of his hands and he had to go recover it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think he batted an eye to that. I mean, it's just one of those plays that happens in football, whether it's raining or not. He just bounced back.
How good was that to see in the first quarter? He bounced off the tackler and then got hit pretty good and got back up and was fired up. How good is that to see from a young kid like that?
Yeah, he plays with a lot of excitement. He plays with a lot of energy and a lot of passion. And, I think that was good to see. You like for your quarterback to slide down maybe or get out of bounds a little quicker. But, playing with a lot of energy and emotion, leading our guys that way. And sometimes as a quarterback, once you get hit like that, it kind of settles you into the game. And so it was good to see. You'd like for him as we get down to these last 4 games, those opportunities come up, just take it out of bounds, get the first down, and save yourself those hits.
Looking ahead to Oklahoma State, at OU, had some trouble in the first half when you got downfield getting points. Is the defense against Oklahoma State going to be as stiff as at OU?
Yeah, I think so. I think that defensively, I think they have 8 starters back from last year's defense. Glenn Spencer's been there for 6 years, I believe, doing a great job calling the defense in his first year as the full-time DC. And I think it'll be just as difficult. They have a great D-line. I think they're probably the best D-line that we've played against as a unit in being able to roll out, 6 to 8 guys that are really good players. And so I think that it'll be a challenge just because they're really good players. They do a good job on defense as far as their scheme. And when we move down, get the ball moving down the field, hopefully we'll be able to be creative. And really it comes down to executing. And at times we didn't execute as well Saturday as we had in the past.
On Saturday, you guys showed a great resiliency to bounce back from down a couple scores in a tough environment. Is Oklahoma State one of those games over the past couple of years where things just really snowballed and got out of control quickly for you guys?
Yeah, they have. I know the last couple of years they got up on us quick before we could even really feel our way into the game, and that's the the importance of starting fast. And you know, I think that we've done a decent job this year of starting fast in offense, and we've got to do it Saturday. And this is a different group of guys, mentality-wise. I think we've got some strong leaders that you saw even Saturday. No matter what the outcome, you know, they still had a kind of a look about them. You know, the moment wasn't too big. They continued to battle, continue to compete. So we've got to start fast on Saturday.
Do you think it's important to get the ball to Chase earlier in the game than maybe what you've been able to do in the last 2 or 3?
You know, any time we can get it to him is good. I mean, it's just we've got 4 guys out there that you know, it's hard to say, hey, let's get him the ball in this play, just because the way our offense progressions and things like that. But whenever we can get him the ball as much as we can, it's good for this offense as long as we're moving.
It just seems that the offense gets started once he gets a couple of touches. It just seems like that loosens things up a little bit more. Is that perception or reality?
Well, I think that's probably a little bit maybe perception. You know, we just try to run our plays, and he's involved in a big portion of them. And if we can get the ball to him, we can get the ball to Eric Ward, Jakeem Grant. You know, we can get the chains moving.
Sonny, can you talk a little bit about players being baited into interactions on Twitter and what you think of fans who tweet vitriol at players?
That tweet what?
Vitriol, like nasty things.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's a big word for me, Betsy. I'm from Snyder. All right. We've got a good education there, but I never heard that one before. You know, I think, you know, our kids are on Twitter. You know, they see it. And, you know, we're on Twitter as coaches. And so I think, you know, you just you can't read into anything, you know, positive or negative, because I try to tell our guys that it skews reality. The only reality that we have is these video screens and what they project. That's who we are, good or bad. And that's what we sign every day at practice. That's what we sign every Saturday. And so to get caught up in anything that would distract us from that would really just take our focus away from getting better. And hopefully that win or lose, that they can control their emotions, you know, on the field, and can control their emotions through the social media as well.
Coach, despite the loss, obviously you guys were the better team this past Saturday. Kind of talk about just the overall execution, take away a few penalties on all 3 sides of the ball.
Yeah, it's about, you know, Coach King talked about it before the game. It's about execution, it's about effort, and it's about tempo. And our kids, you can't say enough good things about how hard they're playing. The tempo was pretty good, and the execution, it comes down to that. And that's the way it'll be these next 4 games. It's about who executes the best, who takes care of the football, and who makes plays when they need them. And in a football game where we had 70-something plays on offense, you know, there's a lot of things we would like to have done a little better, and there's a small margin in this conference, especially whenever you get into games on the road, and so the execution's got to be better all the way around, and especially these next 4 games.
Do you see a philosophical change in how holding is being called, and do you like it?
Yeah, I don't pay too much attention to it. Yeah.
Sonny, it seemed like you had some pretty good wide receiver blocking again, which I know that's not new for you, but as you watched on the field, how did you think the receivers blocked?
Well, as long as they don't get called for holding, they do a good job. You know, I think it's just something that these guys have taken a lot of pride in. And we coach them hard on it, but at the end of the day, they go out and execute it very well. And just getting them to understand on a play where Jakeem Grant scores the touchdown, where we throw it to him out of the backfield, to show Eric Ward, hey, this is what happens. This is a touchdown block because you did your job. And to show those other guys in the meeting room that maybe aren't playing that, hey, this is why we coach you guys so hard on this to get this result. And so that's the best way for them to do it, is to see it.
Sonny, what do you remember about your playing days against Oklahoma State? It's a different coach, going from Les Miles to Mike Cumbie. What do you remember?
Yeah, it's a lot different. I mean, it's completely different changes, you know, from whenever I was playing. And you know, I just remember they were always really good games. And you know, they've done a great job, Coach Gundy has, since he's taken over that program. And you know, they play very hard. And I think that they're a group that's really excited to play each Saturday. And so hopefully that's something that I remember back whenever we were playing against them.
We hope to be on the field more with the offense this weekend, because they really chewed up clock against Chandler Norman. I'm sure that's a frustrating feeling to be on the sidelines and watching the seconds just tick away and then keep moving the ball.
Yeah, you know, I think that as being on the field with those guys, you just try to continue to encourage them to stay focused on what we can do as an offense. And if we get a few more first downs, we're on the field a little longer. If we execute a little better, we're on the field longer. And so just try to look at it from that standpoint.
Jason obviously was going to kick himself for the fumble. On that play, I mean, loses the ball, but he's fighting for extra yardage. What did he fundamentally really do anything wrong, or they just made a play? They
just made a play. You know, that's one of the things. He's hard to bring down, and they're just in there fighting and scrapping and trying to pull it out, and they just made a play on it. And you know, we practice ball security all the time, and you can't fault a kid for trying to get extra yards, and he's got it protected. They just had about 2 or 3 guys in there on him attacking him.